Not sure if this is entitled parents or choosing beggars. For context, in my late teens and early 20s I ran a free after school program for kids out of a community center. The program was for kids ages 8 to 12 whose parents were currently undergoing a messy divorce. We had a sister program next door for parents of the kids. It was part class, part community group, part group counseling. With the kids, myself and another volunteer discussed handling anger, prepared them for joint custody, changes in finances, what alimony and child support were, etc. The class was free, some of the materials were paid for by the center, and the rest I covered myself. I liked the class, and it gave me a bit of padding on my resume, so I didn't mind buying snacks, coloring materials, and prizes for the kids. At the time, we were a few weeks into the class, and I had 8 kids who were attending. 8 is a great number, because do you know how many things come in packs of 8? It meant I bought stuff in those 8 packs, so each kid would have something, and I didn't waste money on spares. So this afternoon, the kids are coming in, and this parent I haven't met with an unknown kid comes by, and sort of drops the kid off without a word to me or her child. It's been a few years, but here is a conversation I remember. Me, ma'am. Entitled mom, what? Me, I don't think we've met. Your son isn't enrolled in this class, currently. You can't just drop him off with me. I was told this class is free. Me, it is. But it's not a daycare. You do have to enroll your child first, and the beginning of the term. I can't watch any child who comes by. There are things I need to know like allergies, emergency contacts. I kinda laugh. His name? Well you can ask me right now. Me, I'm sorry, but the class is starting right now, so I can't. But you can enroll him in the next term. You can find information on how to do that at insert information. Rolling her eyes. I have an appointment. Can't you just take him? For the record, the parents were supposed to be enrolled in the class across the hall, not just use us for free child care. Me, I can't. Besides, I didn't know I'd have another student today, so I don't have enough supplies or snacks for him. Oh, he doesn't need any snacks. He won't mind. Me, ma'am. Of course he is going to mind all the kids eating Nutella snack packs and Capri Suns, and that all the other kids have workbooks and he doesn't. It's not fair to him. Besides, it's not really safe for me to watch a child that I have no information for. So you can sign him up for the next term. Gets all huffy. Fine. Grabs her kid and storms off. That was the end of it, or so I thought. A few minutes later, I'm working with the kids and the other volunteer is setting up our next activity. The door opens a crack, the same kid as before is shoved in, and the door slams. The other volunteer and I share a what the F look, but I open the door and look out, and entitled mom is booking it down the hallway. Me, mom, yelling without turning around. I'll be back in a few hours. Me, never mind the class is only an hour long. Half running after her, ma'am, if you don't come and collect your son, I will call the police about an unaccompanied minor. He won't be here when you get back. Stops, sighs, turns around and pegs me with a glare. You are being so unflexible. This is terrible customer service. Me, you're not a customer. Please take your son. Entitled mother grabs her kid's hand and starts storming off while yelling, I can't believe you would call the police on a child. What kind of teacher are you? I'm going to tell your boss about how horrible you were to me and my son. To this day I wonder if she attempted to talk to my boss about my behavior, or imagining the look on her face when she found out the boss of the program was me. A little recap of what happened last time on Game of Fences. Our protagonist the Wizard of Oz was confronted with an intruder in the form of his 13-year-old neighbor boy attempting to retrieve the Palantir, his football against soccer ball not hand egg. In his attempt he destroyed one of the defensive walls around the fortress, suburban to under one roofed house. After rescuing the intruder from his defensive hellhound, Shepherd Dog growled at the neighbor boy when he fell into the yard. After ruining the fence, he had to rush to stop the intruder from escaping with his prize. After a fierce battle, I held him by his shirt, and he was flailing a bit. He went over to the Castle of Entitlement, the crappy entitled neighbor's house, in order to get his justice. After another fierce battle, my toe really hurt from her jamming her door against it. Our protagonist was saved by Saruman the Cranky, my lovely neighbor, and struck a deal with the platinum blonde devil in the middle of a midlife crisis and her guardian Oompa Loompa, and Ed. Will the fence be replaced? Will the money be refunded? Find out now, in the next episode of Game of Fences. I'm so sorry for this, I just couldn't help myself. Act 2nd, A Clash of Dads. Cast, me, the Witch King of Angmar, formerly known as the Wizard of Oz, MD, my dad So, the Witch Dad of Angmar, Ed, a very tough bank clerk, M, the Platinum Witch, N, Saruman the Cranky, my neighbor. The day had passed without any real excitement, apart from the lords of the fortress returning, my parents. It went from morning to afternoon and soon the daylight was starting to fade. It was nearing dinner time. So basically I had already informed my parents as to what happened on the phone. I chose to explain it again in further detail. When they got home, I showed them the fence and my dad was unhappy to say the least. Like I said, there is some history there already and these neighbors in question have been nothing but an annoyance to the entire street. But it seemed this time they took it a step too far in my dad's book. Regardless, I explained to him they agreed to pay up for the fence before the evening, so he should expect them to be at the door anytime with the 250 euros is agreed upon, which was honestly the only thing that stopped him from going over there himself and giving them a piece of his mind. Lo and behold, at the last possible moment, when I was already ready to call the police, Dumb and Dumber decided to show up, so my dad opens the door with me right behind him. MD, so, finally decided to show up. Yeah, we are here to talk about what happened. How dare you think your son can talk like that to us? Me, sigh. MD, no, you are here to pay for the damages to my fence. Beside that, I want absolutely nothing to do with you people. It was at this point yet again, my knees nearly gave out as her husband appeared from behind her, his shape sculpted by the gods enough to intimidate even a Spartan in the days of Leonidas, the last rays of sunshine glittering on his freshly polished head where the last hairs were losing the battle against his expanding scalp. But no, three were holding their ground. Their utter defiance to his baldness both inspiring and yes, intimidating. They lay over his head, firmly kept in place by copious amounts of the hair gel they used in the days of yore. I think it was the shiny stuff Elvis used to use. His gaze angered, his expression sour, his breath common paste. Ed, and what is that supposed to mean? MD, that I want you to pay for the damages your son did to my fence, and then I want to go back to not speaking to you. Again, it may sound harsh, but like I said, not the first rodeo with these people. How dare you? We are here to talk about how rude your son was. Me, was I rude before, or after you yelled at me and slammed the door against my foot? Or perhaps when your husband made his hilarious attempt to threaten me? You should have seen the dude's face as he was muttering to come up with some sort of smart comeback. It was also at this point that my neighbor walked over to our front lawn, peeking over the hedge, about 150 centimeters tall, surrounding the front lawn. MD, look, are you going to pay for the damages, or are we just going to have to call the police? I'm in no mood to deal with you people any longer than I'm absolutely forced to deal with you. No, first we want your son to apologize for how he behaved. Me, could you please stop yelling? We have neighbors, you know. See, being rude again. Ed, you better tone down the attitude. At this point I'm just done with these people. I'm certainly not going to say sorry for. I'm not sure what I was supposed to say sorry for in the first place. So I grabbed my phone and start going through the numbers. Since the non-emergency police line is somewhere saved when you buy the phone most of the time. Me, right. I'm calling the police. We will just have them deal with it. MD, good idea. Now you people get the hell off my front lawn. We'll have the police deal with this. What? No. Ugh. Just give him the money edition. I could see Ed's bravado disappear once again. It was like he was deflating, for the lack of a better word. At this point he just walked over to my dad, pulled the money from his pocket, and handed it to him. MD, was that truly so hard? My neighbor has the brightest, most FU-esque smile on his face and yells over. Sure seems like it was. Some people just don't know how to behave. I could see M keeping herself back from absolutely blowing up, her fingertips dug into her handpan, stomping back to her house, likely breaking one of those incredibly gross extremely long pink nails. Hilariously enough, her deflated husband immediately follows her, pretty much like a little obedient shadow. And that, my friends, is the end of the story. Or is it? For real though, these people things suck. Hope you enjoyed. This literally just happened. Was in Iceland grabbing a few items. A woman and her massive pushchair was next to me. She comes over and starts having a go at me, saying I've apparently knocked her. I'm guessing my bag must have tapped her. So I just say I haven't and ignore her, put in my headphones back in. She continues to shout at me, so I turn to walk off. As I do, she rams her pushchair into my legs/ankles with her baby in it, shouting at me, "How dare you hit me? I have a baby here." I then go to shove her off me, to which she hits me, so I hit her back, and she swings for me again. Security stepped in, and she began shouting at him, so I just walked off and paid for my stuff. Cashier asked if I was okay and said he saw what happened, so told security to kick her out whilst I paid for my stuff. Okay, so a little backstory. I live right next to a park and they have these really cool giant swings there. I'm also one of those people who likes listening to music, but needs to be doing something at the same time. As such, I love swinging and listening to music. I do it so much the swing and me have a weird bond, even if I'm a little old for it. Okay, so I'm at the park swinging in the middle of the day. Normally I like going late or early as there are less people there, but today I just didn't feel like waiting. So I'm swinging for a little bit when a woman walks up to me with her daughter. She starts talking, so I take my headphones off. Excuse me, could my little girl please use this swing? Now normally I would say yes given my age. However, considering the fact that I just got on and the other one was completely open, I thought it would be okay to politely decline. She didn't like that. How selfish. I guess I shouldn't expect much from a filthy white supremacist, she say, rather loud, in a public park, with children. Oh yeah, and the fact that was totally uncalled for, and I'm understandably angry, so I jump off and ask her to repeat herself. You heard me. How could you even walk out of the house wearing something like that? I then realized she was talking about my shirt, which said it's okay to be white, and she's calling me a racist. I wasn't going to listen to this, so I start to make my way home. She grabs me by the shoulder and says, don't walk away from me, young man. I'm not done talking to you. When she grabbed me, she stepped in front of the swing, and it was still moved from when I was swinging, and bam, bashed her right in the mouth. Like I said, we have a bond. I was gonna help her out and try and calm her down. However, she was still freaked out by me. Luckily, the people around me helped her out and called her ambulance. Hello good people of Reddit. This story took place before my grandmother died 2 years ago. I was reminded of it when I was smoking at a public place, and I got dirty looks from an old couple passing by. Some background. Both my parents are naturalized citizens of the US. They came on a work visa and worked long enough to earn citizenship. They did everything legally. I'm their adopted daughter, so the process of petitioning me to go live with them as a citizen is far more complicated than if I was their biological daughter. They left me in the care of my mom's oldest sister and they pay child support instead of going through the process of getting me a citizenship. They don't pay child support anymore. Since I moved out 2 years ago, I only got a tourist visa that allows me to go back and forth the US on vacation, provided I don't stay more than 8 months. I use this visa to visit as often as I can, but have no plan migrating there as of now. I live and grew up in the Philippines. The story. It had been a year after I graduated culinary school and my grandmom, from my mother's side, was again taken to the hospital for complications of her stroke. She had been bedridden for more than a year after her stroke. My mom had come home from the US to take care of her because we thought grandmom would not last longer. She is 98 at the time and was barely conscious and had to be fed with a tube and wore a catheter and a diaper. Mom stayed with us for about 2 months until she had to go back to work again. I decided to go back with my mom and stay for about a month with her and my dad. Dad was also undergoing treatment for CLL, chronic lymphocytic leukemia. Halfway her stay with us, I book a round trip flight on the airline my mom used, paid for it with my card, and confirmed the payment. A day before our flight I was packing my stuff, that I decided to also pack some extra cigarettes. I was aware that I can already smoke and drink legally in the US as I already turned 21 earlier in the year, but I figured I can save money by getting cigarettes here since it was cheaper compared to there. I also had no license to drive, and the nearest store I can get cigarettes was a 5-minute drive, and I was sure my mother wouldn't drive me to get them. I put about 5 additional packs of Marlboro and 2 lighters in a small pouch and stuff it in my suitcase. Yeah, I know. I smoke a lot. Not proud of it, but it helps me with keeping calm as I have issues controlling myself when I'm stressed, and I tend to lash out and be violent. I'm currently working on it with a professional and can control it better than before. Now my mom doesn't like the fact I smoke, drink and that I have tattoos, but she's tolerating the drinking and smoking provided I don't do it when I'm around her or kids or inside the house. The tattoos she still disapproves, but she isn't willing to pay for laser treatment to remove them so they remain. We had to take an 18-hour flight to get to their state, having to have a layover flight in Lax. Dad picked us up at the airport and drove us home. My stay was overall a great one. I helped my parents around the house. I accompanied my dad to his doctor's appointments and treatments, and got to spend time with my parents and other family members who lived in the States. On the last week of my stay, mom decided to host a going away party for me. She invited all family and some friends. It was a potluck/barbecue party, so guests brought in additional food, while we would grill meats on the outdoor grill. There was also alcohol for adults who wanted a drink or two, and some ice cream bars for the kids. The party was going smoothly, everyone was enjoying themselves, and my aunt even rented a bounce house for the kids who were there. After eating some grilled burgers I decided to just chill out my treehouse in the backyard to drink a beer, far away from my mom's eyes, and also the little kids that might want a sip of my drink. I was halfway through my drink that I decided to smoke. I was just minding my own business when Ek tries climbing the treehouse. He was about 6/7. I'm bad with age guessing. I had removed the small wooden ladder used to get up the tree and placed it in the treehouse because I didn't want kids following me up while I was there. I told the kid he can't go up there because I was smoking and that he should not be near anyone who was smoking. He tried to climb up, but with his chubby self, that wasn't going to happen. He stomped off, and I thought that was the end of it. Boy was I wrong. After finishing my beer, I light another cigarette before I go down and rejoin the party. I wasn't even at half of it when I hear the screeching sound of him's voice. I look down and see a white woman with a whale of a body in ill-fitting clothes that were meant for people in their 20s. She looked like she was in her mid-30s, shouting at me. You already know the cast. M is entitled mom. Op is me. Ek is entitled kid. M is my mom and D is dad. M. Why won't you let my son go up your treehouse? You're too old to be playing in one anyway. Op. Well, first, I'm not playing in it. I'm smoking a cigarette and your son shouldn't be near someone who is smoking. Holds up my lit cigarette for her to see. Second, he can play in the treehouse when I'm done, so leave me alone. M. Goes wide-eyed at the cigarette. You can't smoke. Why would your parents allow you to smoke? Op. UMM. Because I'm an adult that can make her own decisions. I bought these for me with my own money. M. BS. You're a minor. You shouldn't be smoking. Op. Being a smartapants. Well, it says on my birth certificate that I'm 21, so technically I'm way beyond a minor age-wise. M. You're lying. I'm going to get my mom's name and tell her about this. Op. Shrugs. A go ahead. M waddles off to get my mom. Mom arrives to see me finished with my cigarette and was already going down the tree. I get down and M starts on this tirade on how I was being a bad example for kids by smoking in front of them. Op. Okay, I wasn't smoking in front of them. I was in my treehouse, smoking alone and out from their view. I only told your kid I was smoking, so he wouldn't climb up to me. M. Is that true? M. Well, yeah. But still. She shouldn't be smoking around kids. To me, you're a minor. M. She is not a minor. My daughter is 21. M. But you allow her to smoke. That's a sin against God. How can you allow her to live a sinful life? Op, are you for real? Didn't I see you drinking alcohol and eating the grilled shrimp earlier with my uncle and his wife? Aren't those also sins against your religion? Also, while we're on the topic, those clothes you are wearing are a mixture of two different materials of fabrics. That's also a sin in your religion. M. My name. Stop that. You're being rude. M. Leave her alone. She's old enough to decide for herself. I have rules for her to never smoke inside a house or in front of me/kids. She followed them, so I see no wrong in her part here. My name, however, was rude. Op, apologize for being rude. Op, mom. Mom gives me the death glare. Op, fine. Sorry M if I was being rude to you. M. See. That wasn't so bad Opus. Now can we please get back to the party? M. Of course. Still glaring at me. Op. Yeah, okay. I need another cigarette and another beer, if that's okay mom. M. Sighs. I'd rather you don't have another, but it's your choice. Just don't do it in front of me or the kids. Op. Sure thing. I go and grab a beer bottle from the cooler when dad calls me over and asks what happened. I give him an abridged version of it, and he tells me I can smoke with him and uncle. Dad doesn't smoke much anymore due to his condition, but he does drink still. Mom tries to reel him in, but like every male in our family, has a stubborn. We go to a farther corner of the yard and have a drink, and me and uncle smoke a cigarette each while dad didn't smoke, but drank another bottle of beer. I could see M was glaring at me, talking to my aunt, probably how ungodly I am. She doesn't know I'm an atheist, and while people having a religion doesn't bother me much, but it's the crazy religious nuts that want to tell me what to do that ticks me off the most. The rest of the party went nicely, and I even got a few going away presents from some of the family and friends that came. I particularly liked the jacket my uncle got me. It was a black rain jacket, waterproof and perfect for those rainy days we now have here. I also got a nice gift card for Sephora from my cousin. She knows I love Macleod. I used it to buy a new highlighter and some much needed setting spray. I don't know why M felt compelled to preach to me as to why I shouldn't smoke. Maybe one day scientists will figure out why entitled people act that way. If you enjoyed the stories, slap the like and subscribe button for more of them, and don't forget to support the original writers with an upvote. Links are in the description. Peace out, and catch you tomorrow.